Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Public Authority for Consumer Protection issues a decision on essential commodities subjected to its price monitoring. Sohar Port expects an increase of unloaded goods of typical containers after the completion of navigational movement from Port Sultan Qaboos. The Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhofar discusses readiness of the Far Municipality for Salalah Tourism Festival 2014. And 2 old teachers of Holy Quran are honored for their efforts in this field. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Public Authority for Consumer Protection issued a decision limiting goods that should be monitored and to obtain approval for any price increase, which came in the approved list by the Council of Ministers. These commodities were topped by rice, flour, cooking oil, ghee, sugar, salt, tea, coffee, lentils, pea, beans, chickpeas, tomato, fresh and frozen meat, poultry and fish, milk and dairy products. The authority mentioned that these goods require prior permission from the authority to raise their prices, while the rest of commodities and services which were not mentioned in the list are to be subjected to demand and supply principle. The decision, which came in line with Council of Ministers' decision that amended a procedure by the Public Authority for Consumer Protection towards prohibiting raising prices of commodities and services, determined a procedure of presenting a request to raise prices for commodities mentioned in the list, required documents and required time period in the applications. Within the same context, the Council of Ministers approved that Food Security Committee, in coordination with entities concerned, shall annually review a list of essential commodities above mentioned and raise proposal for its amendments to the Council of Ministers whenever the matter necessitated. Sohar Port expected an increase of volume of unloaded goods by 300,000 typical containers and 200,000 tons of goods shipments monthly by the navigational commercial movement from Port Sultan Qaboos to Sohar Port, which will give an opportunity to implement Sultan Qaboos Port to Sohar Port, which will give an opportunity to implement Port Sultan Qaboos plan to be touristic destination with international standards. The new plan of Port Sultan Qaboos will include 8 zones as the main waterfront of the port, yachts and ships, marinas, in addition to cruise ships, berths and traveller stations, besides markets and multi-purpose buildings. This movement stressed that the port became a favorite destination for companies working at shipping and world logistics services because of geographical feature of the port, providing direct shipping routes to local market and the number of investment at the port. Review of relations between the Sultanate and the State of Palestine was at the focus of meeting of His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Minister of Diwan of the Royal Court, with His Excellency Dr. Loe Mahmoud Taha Isa, Ambassador of the State of Palestine accredited to the Sultanate, who bade farewell to the Minister at the end of his mission as his country's ambassador to the Sultanate. He expresses thanks for His Excellency the Minister of Diwan of the Royal Court for cooperation he received during his tenure in the Sultanate, which facilitated carrying out his duty. On his part, the Minister thanked the ambassador for good efforts that contributed in enhancing relations between the Sultanate and the State of Palestine, wishing him success in his future assignment. His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of the Royal Court, viewed the relations between the Sultanate and the United States with Her Excellency Greta Christine Halls, Ambassador of the United States of America, accredited to the Sultanate. During the meeting, they discussed various spheres for achieving joint interests between the two countries. A plan of training employees of the General Administration Institute during the period of 2016 to 2020 was the main topic at the meeting of the Board of Directors of the Institute today in the headquarters of the Ministry of Civil Service. The training plan covers 20 fields at the Institute, different sections, mainly the administrative training, studies and researches, consultations, IT and administrative affairs. The both further discussed the proposal of the Institute's new building project in preparation to implement it. The meeting was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Omar Al Marhoun, Minister of Civil Service, Head of Board of Directors. Still to come in our news bulletin. Unlimited vacation policies have so far been adopted by a handful of US businesses.
تجوال عمان للخيول 2014 الخميس بعد أخبار 10 مساء، ويعاد الجمعة بعد أخبار 2 ظهرا.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhofar discussed the readiness of the Dhofar municipality for Salalah Tourism Festival 2014. The Council also discussed the activities which will be held on the sidelines of the festival and the services provided to the tourists during Kharif season, in addition to new services which will be provided during the festival this year based on questionnaire conducted with the tourists in the last session. His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Ofad bin Abdullah Shanfari, Chairman of the Dhofar Municipality, Chairman of Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhofar, headed the meeting. The Ministry of Sports Affairs organized clubs, youth camps, programs that aim to develop youth capabilities and to use their free time in useful activities. 4 youth camps are launched from Sohar to Muscat, so as 600 youth will benefit from this program during the summer vacation. These types of camps include various social, cultural and sports activities. They also enhance initiative spirit among youth to participate in the development of their country. Central Bank of Oman revealed that some fake and suspected companies and individuals from outside the Sultanate made serious attempts to call citizens and residents by different communication means to deceive them of winning raffle tickets or false vouchers and suspected money offers in return for obtaining some banking facilitations and services available in the Sultanate. The Amana voluntary team organized a ceremony in the Wilayah of February to honor a number of Holy Quran tutors and those who represented the Sultanate in various inside and outside events. During the ceremony, the Amana voluntary team presented a message of appreciation for 2 old teachers of Holy Quran, Ubaid and Ali, for their efforts in this field. The ceremony included a number of activities that highlighted students' talents. The Ministry of Education in the Governorate of North Sharqiya organized a summer program to encourage students on innovation, improving their life skills and provide them with the basic knowledge in life fields such as handicrafts. The program is a good opportunity for the students to get benefit of their time during the summer. The program included many activities such as awareness lectures related to food and health. It also included teaching English language. Unlimited holiday may sound like an impossible dream for many workers, but at some US company, it's already a reality. Here's a report.
There are quite a few perks to working at marketing software company HubSpot. The free sweets in the canteen, for example, or the lunchtime clubs, such as this informal exercise class. But perhaps the biggest draw is the promise of unlimited holiday. As long as employees hit their targets and get work done on time, they can take off whenever they want. It's a big change here in the US, where there's no legal minimum number of vacation days.
It just didn't seem like it was sort of an equivalent relationship between the dedication that our employees were providing and the fact that they were no longer working exactly from 9 to 5. And that really sort of spurred this whole thought about how do we sort of treat employees like adults and have a better partnership between the company and the employees.
Entertainment giant Netflix first popularized the idea around a decade ago, and many companies have adopted it since then, particularly in the technology sector.
And so we actually got to see some tapirs, which are these weird anteater-like creatures.
Corrie Eridan has worked at HubSpot for 2.5 years. She recently took a trip to Belize with her boyfriend, which she says she might not have taken so early in the year at a normal company with fixed vacation. But Corrie says it's not the big trips that make the difference.
One of the ways that I think people underestimate how helpful it is just in your day-to-day. I've taken a lot of great vacations while I've been here, but it's also just been helpful to not have to, chart half of a day off with somebody because I need to go to the doctor or run some errands.
Not everyone's convinced, though. MIT Professor of Management Lottie Balin says one concern is that with fewer guidelines, workers may actually feel pressure to take less rather than more holiday.
In America, people don't tend to take even the vacations that they're given. So they need some guidelines for what to take, but they also need to see their managers and executives taking vacations.
HubSpot says that no one has abused the system since its introduction several years ago, and most employees don't seem to take significantly more than the US average of 2 to 3 weeks a year. So while companies may be moving to unlimited holiday in theory, don't plan your next 6-month break just yet.
Now for the general weather forecast, clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies. Winds will be southerly to southwesterly moderate along the southeastern coast, while it will be northwesterly light to moderate along the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the coastal areas overlooking the Arabian Sea will be rough with a maximum wave height of 3.5 meters. Rest of the Sultanate's coast, it will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Public Authority for Consumer Protection issues a decision on essential commodities subjected to its pricing monitoring. Sohar Port expects an increase of unloaded goods of typical containers after the completion of navigational movement from Port Sultan Qaboos. The Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhofar discusses readiness of the Dhofar Municipality for Salalah Tourism Festival 2014. And 2 old teachers of Holy Quran are honored for their efforts in this field. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, thank you for watching and good night.